Hail Cydra. What's going on, guys? Pegasus from the Wiseguys. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you sub. Make sure you hit the bell. Welcome back to the page. I'm sure you've picked up that Cyberdark stuff, that structure. Let's talk about it a little bit. So with that out of the way, and my affinity of go second decks definitely being intact, just wanted to show some of the old school stuff. Obviously, you guys remember Dre and how after you get a core out onto the field in some kind of way, whether you banish that and special summon another one, whether you already have it in your normal summoning twice within this new version of the deck, Dre was always the kind of original way to get to a level 5, to get into a Nova and then an Infinity. When those cards were released around the Bosch time, I know Nova's been out a lot longer than that, but Infinity being the new power play, the new negation was always the most important part about this deck. And I still think that it is, but ultimately I think that this new Cyberdark stuff is really, really solid. And that's why we're going to show that. I wanted to show within this hand that the OTK combo really pretty much all comes from core, because core gets into the new spell card, the realm card, and then the realm gets into the Cyberdark Chimera. And then from there, you're just wombo comboing off to then power bond, turbo into power bond as fast as possible, and then get from there straight into Rampage Dragon, and then be able to attack multiple times the way you always kind of have been. But this is just the fastest way to get there now. You don't necessarily need Galaxy Soldier anymore, which I'll talk about a little bit later. And it definitely leaves a lot to be desired with some of these other cards that you might not need as well. But I still wanted to show them just in case you decide to play them. As far as Cyber Dragon Vier, I still think it's a relatively decent card because of the chain blocking aspect that it presents. But I definitely feel like there are better cards to pretty much put into the deck. I'll just say that. You really understand what I mean here in a little bit. As far as this specific combo, I wanted to show that you can pop your own overflow on your own turn. And if you've never seen that type of combo, this is definitely the way to get there. And just in case you've never seen it before, you can rampage your own cards. So therefore you can set the overflow, pop the overflow, and then search off of the overflow to add a cyber spell or trap. And that definitely can lead to some different variations of what you want to do, whether that's the new card Horizon, whether that be the fusion card that has been out for a while and the cyber load fusion. And then obviously with some of the other cards, you have a lot of different ways you can go. Repair plan into something else. You know, it just depends on what exactly your matchup is and what exactly the meta is and where you're going from there. For this specific combo with cyber load fusion, you're putting cards that were in the banish pile back into the deck to then be able to summon out yet another Rampage Dragon, and then from there you have 2 level 5s, and you can still dump. So make sure you always get your dumps off. That way you can always profit off of it in the strongest way possible. For this specific combo, make sure that you understand that you get locked into machines the moment that you use Nachster's effect. So it's very important for you to remember that. And it's very important for you to remember, if you're going against this deck, that they cannot go into further plays like Anaconda and Dragoon if they have summoned Nachster. So it's very, very important to remember. So if you don't want to get locked into that, then you 100% have to special summon something else and then go from there. And you can still get into the Anaconda and Dragoon. I just wanted to show that way everybody understands exactly what's going on so you don't get cheated. It's very important to read these cards, and since Yu-Gi-Oh players don't read, I thought I'd help you out a little bit. In the next combo, I wanted to show pretty much the same kind of start, but this one is going to be around Nachster, Herz, and Cyber Dragon. And I also wanted to show kind of a go second test hand where your opponent kind of has a monster or has some kind of board presence in some kind of way, and what exactly that would look like going into the basic plays. Again, you're going second. You're going to special summon out Cyber Dragon and normal summon Herz. And this time I wanted to show Puzzle Amino, which is a very interesting tech. I saw this a long time ago in a friend's Cyber Dragon deck. I've seen it in some of Yassine's videos. I've seen it in many other YouTube videos that pretty much highlighted Cyber Dragon. I've seen it over the years. It's not really new to me. I've seen it for some years, but it may be new to you, and that's why I wanted to kind of highlight it. And it is most definitely going to be a tech time here pretty soon, just because Cyber Dragon is gaining so much popularity. But again, the same thing with Nachster, being able to special summon it back by its own effect, or special summon it out by its own effect. You then get to spam out onto the board, change its level, and then from there you pretty much have the same kind of combo and the same kind of setup. Now obviously there's much more stuff inside of the extra deck that I could talk about, and you can choose to bring Herz or Cyber Dragon back. You probably want to look into stuff like a Auroradon and much more stuff, but there's just so much to cover that it would really be a disservice for me to try to put it in right here. For this next combo, guys, I just wanted to show how you can go into a card like ShenShen. I've seen a lot of it in deck lists, and it took a friend of mine that asked me, he's like, what in the world, how are they going into ShenShen? Well, this is specifically how. You again normal summon Cyber Dragon Core to then be able to get into the Realm card, and then Realm can get out the Chimera, and then Chimera pitching a spell, that's why I have the Cyber Emergencies in hand, helps you to get to Power Bond. Again, Power Bond, it can send from the hand. If they're in the grave, it would banish them. You know, whatever the case may be, with the Chimera helping you to be able to banish them, you can always have a way to fuse. Therefore, Power Bond is a better card than it's ever been, and I feel like it's intelligent to play the Power Bond Turbo version just because of how much is going on. In this specific scenario, you can send 2 light machines, and a lot of people haven't seen that Stardust can go into this deck, the Stardust Synchron, because it is a light machine. So therefore, when you send it, you can trigger it in the graveyard to be able to tribute off a card that's on your board, and then from there go into a ShenShen, and that, my friends, is how you end up with ShenShen. In this last combo, I just wanted to show specifically, what if you don't open up core? A lot of people always feel like you have to open up core for your plays to really mean something, and that's just simply not true. Off of Herz, you're still going to get some kind of profit, so to speak, and then from there, off of the machine dupe, being able to special summon out 2 Cyber Dragons is really streamlined in the deck. Any of the little ones can machine dupe into any of the big Cyber Dragons, and then obviously when Herz hits the grave, you're still going to add back a Cyber Dragon. From there, you're detaching Nova, the standard plays that you already know about, and then you can pretty much end on whatever you want to because you haven't used anything that would lock you into machines. And that pretty much is all of the combos. Now getting into a little bit of the skeleton, I feel like the skeleton pretty much goes and takes the deck in a new route. If you notice the deck, you don't see Galaxy Soldier, and there's a reason behind that, and that's obviously because with the Cyberdark stuff and with a lot of the different parts of the deck, I still feel like you pretty much play the same kind of ratio you always have. And because you don't actually have a Galaxy Soldier in the deck, you don't necessarily need 3 Herz. But then after that, it pretty much is how you want to interpret it. But the reason you don't need the Galaxy Soldier is because, frankly, it's not going to trigger as many times as you're used to or accustomed to inside of the deck, the way it has been over the years. I feel like you only need 1 Chimera, and in my personal opinion, with Realm, I feel like you always want to see Realm. Therefore, Claw being the searcher for it, I would most definitely play 3. I've seen some lists that are kind of getting cute online where they're playing 2, and that's just not good deck building in my personal opinion, just because the cards that I want to see, I want to maximize how many times that I see them. So that's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong, but that's just objective deck building. It's not that I'm a Cyber Dragon player. I'm far from that. It's just something that I've noticed. I feel like the Dragoon package, you know, obviously if you don't have the Dragoon package, you don't have to play it because you can OTK people just fine, but it definitely adds to your board state going game 1, and it helps you to clean up somebody else's board state in game 2, just in case. But I definitely feel like it's the power play that this deck most definitely needs, but it's up to you. And obviously with Fusion Enforcer coming out, the Destiny guy, I just feel like you can really do whatever the hell you want to. I feel like Prosperity is really strong in this deck because you can OTK through a Prosperity. Yes, you can OTK through a Prosperity. Ask if you don't know how, and down in the comments. And then obviously you have stuff like Droll and Lockbird and other stuff in the side deck. And again, I wanted to touch a little bit on the Mechaba that you'll see there, but I'll touch on that in a second. I feel like these are pretty much the standard scenarios that you want to take as far as going into your extra deck. I just feel like you need the Link Spider in case you get nibbed. The Drop Deleter is a perfect card. Almirage is a great card. I feel like a Auroradon could obviously go in here somewhere. And that pretty much is that. Now, getting into the next little bit here, I wanted to talk about some of the cards that don't quite exist yet, or some of the other options that you have. Obviously, with Rocket Caliber still not existing, I wouldn't necessarily try the Rocket stuff, but the Rocket stuff is a potential way that you can play Cyber Dragon, and a lot of people have never actually seen that. It would really take a lot of testing and a lot of other stuff. As far as the Imperm and the Chalice, I'm showing these cards because you're going to have to adjust and put these cards into your deck and start taking cards out, maybe the Stardust Synchron if you're not feeling the ShenShen play, to be able to play other stuff. Ignore this card. That's a tech that's coming soon for another deck that's coming out very soon. But obviously with other stuff, I really feel like the Chalice and the Imperm are really stuff that you want. Obviously I talked about Galaxy Soldier already not being as strong as it was, and you can pretty much justify cutting it. And then as far as with so many more Dogmatica players being around, because the deck is relatively cheap now, because you can get Ecclesia for like $12, $13 and some of the other stuff for a lot cheaper. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more copies of them inside of the deck, and that means more copies of your extra deck stuff getting sent to the grave, and that means more potential to have Mechaba out on the field. Some of the other popular stuff that you already knew about, whether that's Constellar Pallades, whether that's Vimana, whether that's Gaia Dragon being an extra material in case you want an extra material for Zeus, this is your Downed Magician inside of this deck. Guys, I hope this has helped you in some kind of way better understand Cyber Dragon, better understand the basics, and help you in your deck building. Obviously, you're going to have to adjust whatever your deck is to the meta. And I'll see you guys next time. Appreciate you for tuning in. I'm out. YG baby. Ciao, Bella.